Hello, from New York. This is David Sotelo, your personal mystic, your personal political mystic. And the subject today, why can't you talk sense to MAGA supporters? The necessity of IMC, health, and politics. First of all, let's go over what would IMC health be, intermind communication. Health. It involves a certain amount of social training. You need to be able to think and appeal. In creative, objective, and compassionate ways, in ways that expand those skills. And from there, using these approaches and with empathy, healing of the mind can begin. That may not be all that's necessary. Good start. Okay? Most of the trauma research, and so it's all about when people can't communicate. It's a lack of that training, and it's a lack of the health. Important. The health, the empathy, and the use of these things, and one's own inner communication. Okay? It's all about love. And you know something's wrong with love. Love hurts. So what you'll find is that, remember, if you've been listening to it, the brain reacts to trauma, which is helplessness around needs, feelings, and their expression, by distancing oneself from that impact. An extreme case would be a near-death experience type. There's so much pain, so much helplessness. The safe place is outside of your body. So that, by the way, can be created in the lab. Yeah, by suppressing the parts of the brain that give you a spatial orientation. Military did that for me. So just because someone says that doesn't make them a mystic. Just because someone experienced that. Okay? Now, it might have some life-changing impacts. But that alone doesn't make you mystic. Mystic has to be able to go inside and connect with your real needs and heal them if they're damaged, and promote them if your real needs. Okay, those needs attached to helplessness caused by trauma are in the past. They're in the past, which the brain doesn't let you know that because you can't live in helplessness. And anxiety would overwhelm you. So it distances you. The brain distances you from the original needs by symbolizing and generalizing. Yep. So if you were traumatized by a cat, and attacked by a lion or something, and you were helpless, and it left a traumatic imprint on you because of the helplessness, then your brain would generalize this to being afraid of all cats, maybe even a house cat. Generalize because you got control. It's moving yourself to a place where you feel you have control and you have safety. And that when that kind of damage is there, it can be very hard to communicate to people. These skills of creative, objective, and compassionate empathy are damaged. And so approaches of this type, and because of the empathy, it takes you to your knees. This undoes the ability of the symbolic to hold up. And that symbolic protection, wow, that could feel very threatening. If someone's ideas are challenged, it's not rational that they go to pieces. A scientist, a healthy scientist will embrace the opportunity to learn. But you'll see that in the MAGA people, you will see that attempts to get them to expand their sense of compassion. And remember, it's America first, but right away. Just this country. You want to have compassion for this country? Just me, myself, and I, because this kind of pain makes people selfish. Because they're in pain, right? It's natural. They're going to be selfish. Right? They're selfish. So the very first thing to note is America first. Yeah. Well, it has a practical side, which means you have to be well enough healthy enough to help other people, sure. But the way they take it, it's, villainizing the other people. You feel attacked from the trauma, and so you want to see devils, You want to see bad in people, you want to defend. All of your fear and your anger goes up. You want to defend yourself. Yeah. So that's what you see. It's a lot of fear, conspiracy theories, unhinged fears that don't relate to anything real. That some of them believe that Democrats are actually reptiles with a human face. I mean, you really, that's coming, you can understand it because it's coming from fear and anger. So the reason you can't reach them is because not just because they are lacking in some of these skills, but because they've been hurt. And you have to wonder at any country that produces a lot of people like that, their education system, how good is it? Um, you should be learning these things in school. We have emotions, but where are any classes in emotional intelligence in the schools? Something I've been pushing for a long time, and neither party wanted to take that up. They always want to move it over to, oh, we don't want bullying in the school. Defensive kind of moves, right? How about something educational? Well, that relates to need. And remember, as you improve these skills and you practice these skills, it opens up that hurt for healing. That has to be done, very slowly and at a person's pace. Doing it yourself, it's sometimes possible to some degree. Having a trainer helps. Having a professional with access to medications and other things could be even more. That could help. Undeniable. But path of the mystic is a path for people who are sane enough to practice these things within themselves and grow, I would say, spiritually. Which, me, in sympathetic health, just as a rational mystic, that's how I see it. So, now, I'm not denying that there are things in NDEs, for instance, that are very hard to explain. I don't think that they provide clear evidence that there's a life after death. But they are interesting. And maybe for some people that's very convincing. I have my doubts. But because there are other ways to explain some of these things, that are still far-fetched, but not as far-fetched as that. But yeah, you can't reach them because they're hurting. You can care about them. You can love them. But you see when they go out and they try to talk to them, how they lack objectivity. They lack the ability to reason clearly. I mean, nothing could be more obvious than Trump's demented sort of behavior. He's dementia, but qualified to make a diagnosis. But anybody can see he's not with it, and yet they deny that, and they talk about Joe Biden like he's some kind of dummy that doesn't understand the economy and so on. Well, you can't reach it. If you're going to defeat Trump, you're going to have to talk to people who are healthy enough to be persuadable. And the MAGA, the hardcore MAGAs are not going to be persuadable. I think if they had proper therapy, I think they could be. But we don't have time to go around trying to train people in inner mind communication who are desperately ill and maybe need more than it. Come. And again, what kind of country, what kind of party would stir up and bring up these sorts of damaged people and get them all fired up in this crazy way? Well, that's pretty easy to see. You look at the Republican Party, and their basic idea is to give all of the money, recently, give all the money to the super wealthy. They don't need to spend that money. You give it to the middle class, like Robert Rice says, and then that gets spent and helps the economy. Trump himself said, gee, it seems that when Democrats are in control, the economy improves. He said that. Are you hearing me, MAGA? He said that. But, greed distorts minds. It distorts them. So, it's a beautiful experience to, if you're healthy enough to take this IMC practice. For seriously ill people. You can see lack, objectivity, creativity, passion. When you see some of that missing, then you're seeing that an intensity of that disease that inner mind communication cannot help unless they're going through a process. That's it. And possibly a trainer can help some. Judge that for yourself. But I'm no guru. I'm not trying to get people to follow me blindly. Mr. Trump is such a person. And, that's a difficult thing to ascertain. But by and large, I can give you some boundaries. If people are believing in conspiracy theories, wild conspiracy theories, they need professional help, and I would say they probably need in-house. Anybody who believes these kind of bizarre things, it can come in a lot of ways too. Not trusting authority when the authority is good. You don't trust the FBI, and the CIA they risk their lives every day. Newscasters who risk their lives, and you see them as a deep state evil thing. That is a delusion. Okay, that's not true. We have medical personnel who are just into it for the money. They're not evil. They're not out to hurt you. They're just out to make money. And so if you see people who can't consider having compassion, like to say, for people who are different than themselves. You see, and who is Trump appealing to? White supremacists. in his hip pocket. That ought to tell you something. Stand down and be prepared. All the evidence is in. If it be you or I that was brought up on the charges that Trump brought up on, we'd be in prison like many of his followers already are. We'd be gone. But this guy, he's using the presidency in order to act like a dictator, overturn an election. If you just, here's the thing. With healthy IMC, intermind communication skills, there's a strong sense of trust. Trust in humanity, faith in the good. Not just, seeing people as evil. There's not a tendency in the true mystic to want to punish people. Jesus wasn't about that. However you feel about Jesus, whether real or unreal or whatever, read what he supposedly said and tell me, was he all about punishing people? I don't think so. And he saw sinners as sick people. That was a different thing to say in his time. And so, if you see this lack of these skills of creativity, looking at things from different perspectives, I remember asking some hardcore Republicans about joining a bipartisan group. And I said, well, to cut down on unnecessary arguments, try to switch sides and argue from the other side. Oh, I can't do that. That was the response. Okay. Yeah. That inability shows you right away there's something wrong. Are there people in the Democratic Party like that too? Yeah, there are, unfortunately. But I have a faith that there's enough sane people in this country not to put Trump back into office. That is a serious, serious mistake. And, if you love this country and you want it to do better, that's not the way to go. Joe's doing a good job. He's doing an excellent job, especially given what he's been given. And none of the things that he's accomplished are being recognized, and that's sad. That's sad. What about some real fervor for supporting Joe? I can get excited about Joe, supporting Joe. He's a calm guy. He's not a showman. He's calm. He does a good job. And he's just a cool dude. Right? A lot healthier in his age than I am. He's older. And so, and he's a lot healthier than Trump. By the way, is only 2 years younger than Joe. You're going to talk about a time when Joe doesn't know where a car is. Look at everything that's on his mind. If that were all on you might forget where you parked it or where the car was sitting. If that car was for you, a lot of things going on. And he's handling it very well. Trump can't get through his speech without saying something really stupid. Even in the courtroom, He says things that get him in trouble, and his lawyers want to silence him, and he won't be quiet. He is a sick man, you know. And, that's not saying, that you should care about it. Care more about people that are sick. But you don't let them run the show, no matter how good a showman they are. And you see this, but how did it devolve in this country to the MAGA? Well, the Republican Party giving all the money to the wealthy. And then the poor pay more for everything. They're really suffering. The middle class are suffering. Because, we don't give universal health care. Now, that's a big stressor. People have lost everything because of needing medical care. That's wrong. So, think. Think, for heaven's sakes. Where is it going to go when you're so neglecting the poor, the middle class, with rich CEOs paying less in taxes than their secretary? Now, who wants laws like that? The Republican Party. Now, where is that going to go? Because people who are not in touch with their real needs are unhealthy in those ways that I talked about. The quality of it, it's the conditions that they endured. But that becomes the base of your party, without which you can't win. So they made that the base of their party, of people who are not in touch enough realistically with their own needs. That becomes the base of your party when you don't care about them. Oddly enough. Yeah. You don't care about them, and they don't have the sense to see it. And then you do the little side issues like, all these different shades of, well, actually, the same pigment in people's faces coming into the country. Oh, people from another culture. They're a strength, not a weakness. You gotta understand that. We're a land of immigrants. If you ask the Native Americans, we're all here illegally. So look, the IMC philosophies do good wherever you can, and to spread empathy. That's a true mark of a mystic. Someone who has a deep, resonating kind of empathy that resonates with their own needs and the needs of others. Whose compassion reaches out beyond just their tribe, that reaches out to ideas that are new and different, and to logic, reason, which may cause you to be having to admit you're wrong. These abilities are absolutely the mark of a true mystic. And you can be one. Just head in the right direction. Nobody's perfect. head in the right direction. Their mind communication listening. Work on your creativity, your objectivity, and your compassion. And apply that inwardly to yourself. You'll be well on your way. There are dealing with trauma. There's somatic kind of techniques and things, And you know what they are within this brand of inner mind communication. I've explained it many times. It's about focus and play and expression in relation to your needs and ways to implement that without language. That helps with really deep traumas. So, and all of these things interact. The focus, as I said before, evolves into objectivity and with social influences. And social influences evolve your ability to play, to being able to create life, look at things from many perspectives, and play with ideas, toss them around, to see things from the other side of the picture. And compassion, reaching beyond your tribe. What did Jesus say? And they would say that only for the children of Abraham. What did he say back? God, take one of these stones and create a child of Abraham. So it's not a big deal. Your tribe isn't that big a deal. It was already reaching out beyond the narrow scope of this time. That's another dark of the mystics. They're taking us higher for their time into these understandings. Now, there is a picture with inner mind communication. Sorry, COPD. I'll form my lip. I'm having a little trouble with it this time. So this is what I've had to say about MAGA. Now, what I had to say about the journey toward being a healthy mystic. Usually like to raise more issues. But Jesus, this is I and you are one. That oneness, that all-embracing love, is how I like to, in my speaking, these rather crude Google video with the word namaste. Namaste means you reach out and you love those who despitefully use you. Bless those that curse you. and do good, despite just a paraphrase. Anyway, look it up. Anyway, a believer in nothing. And that's and facts only as useful as factual only to who they predict. That's me. And this pattern, that's something a little different that a lot of the trauma therapies and things really haven't quite grasped yet. They have different practices, by the way, that are kind of parts or doing one of the 6 things that are integrated in that inner mind communication. And, but find the right one for you. Find the right guide for yourself, for your traumas. But this is like exercise, IMC, for healthy people to grow and overcome their traumas to the degree they're able to do it on their own. And I would suggest that it's something that should be done even if you're there and help. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm not in the best shape out of the hospital. But my time in my life is growing short. So this is my message to the world that I'm giving, and it's many flavors. I hope you appreciated the boomer video that I've given you today. And if you would subscribe and share and like or dislike anything that I've presented, or present other alternative ideas, that's fine. I would appreciate that. Spread the message. And if you can do a better job of it, I'm ready to retire. Nah, I'm never retired. Neither should you. And it's the job of elders like myself to promote inner mind communication. It's the time of life for that. And you're not busy, taking care of the noisy kids and mating and all of that. So people who never through we have lucky guys, they have grandkids. Yeah, well, I didn't get that luck. But anyway, that's your time. If you're an elder like myself, it's your time to promote spirituality. That's something that the Indian culture understood a long time ago. And they would retreat to the forests and come back with their own messages. So you don't have to retreat to the forest. Just practice your mind communication to the best of your ability. Learn more about it and see how it connects to the world and to healing and so many other things. And be a blessing in the world. be a blessing that reaches out. It doesn't demonize people. It doesn't get all nervous because people with different noses or ears or whatever, or cultures or religions come into your sphere, into your life. Welcome. Welcome them and grow. Grow. And back to that word namaste. Yeah, I'm ready to say that now. May all that is wonderful, caring, understanding, truly heartful, and me honor that in you. Namaste. And have a good day, y'all.